Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of December 2nd through the 6th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from November 25th through the 29th, and update the chart as well. First up is Tesla. We ended the week at 345.16, up 3.69%. We are at resistance at 3 standard deviations. Above that takes us to 4, and that is 348.32. To the south side takes us back down to right here at -2 standard deviations, 339.98. The middle of the trend takes us to roughly 331.55, 323.17. Another level of support and a potential buy-in area and a potential stop-loss area as well. Below that, 319.11 and 314.99-ish. Looking left, you can see a gap formed. We gapped up. That means I will anticipate it to close to the downside, and that should close. Let me make this a little bit better here by turning on the magnet. Can be a little bit more precise with the numbers. So we gapped up. I will anticipate a gap filled to the downside, but the middle of the trend would wipe out that gap play anyway. And the RSI is, I'll move this out of the way, already overbought. So we could go a little bit higher and then crack down and then potentially make our way up again. But it will sell off as it always does every time it hits a critical area. I just consider this resistance as well. So we've got a gap that will take us down to 322. And then we have other gaps down there, but those are not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close yet. But we are going down on the 5. And that could close out on Monday too if we continue down in the same pattern. And the high of last week was 361.93, let's just say. I have it a little different than what they have for the week. And note the sell-off here at resistance, and then grinding down the middle of the trend, just walking it down, and then a bounce here at support, sell off at resistance, and then making our way down this line possibly. But the middle of the trend, if we consolidate and go sideways, we could hit this line. Otherwise, by the end of the week, we could be down to 306.36. And then the outer bands here, 289 even, but that remains to be seen. And the gap that I'm tracking to the upside will take us to 405.96. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. And then let's move that. That'll take us to 251.66. The next ticker, I have 9 more to go, so I'm just going to cruise along quickly. Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out with Tesla. So the middle of the trend is here. Last week, it was here. And that is a decline of roughly 5%. But we're up 3.69 on the day. Delete that. And then the last time I talked about two weeks ago, price was at 320, made our way up to here. And I tracked it at 352 and then out of the gate went running, but couldn't keep up the momentum, fell back down. So the last week was again right here, and then we're stair-stepping it down. All right, NIO. So just mark it out for yourself so you can kind of see where we have been and where we could potentially head if we continue in the same pattern. 448, 453, 465, 476. The middle of the trend takes us to 429. This gap closes out at 417, 405, 393, 380. And then look at how many times price touched this line. And that's an old middle of the trend for the middle of the week. And that I tracked on the 18th. So last week we were up here and now we are here. Stair-stepping it down still. And that will take us to 467. And then this one, 505. And this one to 395. Sell off here at resistance, bounce at support, trying to get to resistance, falling back down, and then this acts as a line also. Many levels of support and resistance in between. Turn on your Bollinger Band, your VWAP, draw your trend lines, patterns, whatever you like to play. But whatever you do, keep it consistent and keep it simple. 156.77, 158.04, and this will take us back to 159.29 in a spot where we've been in the past. Right? 154.24 is the middle of the trend and one level of support and a potential buy-in area. Depends on your risk tolerance. 151.64, 150.38. There are so many tickers I would love to buy. 149.05 that I play more conservatively and then pick up shares wherever it may be at -2, -3, or -4. And sometimes you think that it's going to bleed out even more, and that's where you have to be careful because it can go down even more before it reverses. 149.38, that's where we will close out that gap. So this is the middle of the trend for this upcoming week, and we were here the previous week, and that is up for 4.89%-ish. And then note the sell-off here, and then maybe going sideways for a bit, and then go follow this line up. And watch out for the RSI there. We're at 47. Looks like turning down. And what is happening here? That's no. Oh, that's when I tracked the price. Oh, the price was at 149 the last time I looked at it. And then we ended at 155-ish. So that's 4% return. But up here, if you let it ride, hopped off the gravy train, that's a 5% return there, 5.46. So if we are here and we continue to go up, the middle of the trend could take us to 160 for Boeing, and then the outer bands could take us up to here. But don't hold your breath at 4 standard deviations. That is not something that you should expect or anticipate. -2 and 2 standard deviations all day long. Anything outside, outliers, a potential buy or sell signal, and then we've got a baby gap down here. So the next gap up will take us to 173.61, slowly making our way up. And then I think we have a gap or two down there, but if we're in that channel, I'll let you know. We're not there. The next one is SOFI. We are chugging along here with SOFI. Let me delete this. Oh, let me go back to Boeing really quick. This is starting to get super cluttered. So what I'm going to do, so this was the middle of the trend last time, and now we are here. And then the week before we were, oh, I deleted it already. So I'm going to delete, which one is older? This line. This is too tight there. I'm going to delete this line to give me some breathing room to look at it. And then maybe next time I'll delete one of these, but I really just care about this line and this line for now, and then the previous one, but I already deleted it. All right, SOFI. 1661, 1685, 1710. The middle of the trend takes us to 1615, 1568, 1544, 1520 to the south side. And then, oh, apparently I bought down here, and then, yeah, I own many, many shares. Oh, I think I deleted that 1798. That was an old buy-in area when SOFI started to tank a long time ago, and I never sold those shares. So I'm hanging on to those, and hopefully we'll continue to go up and continue our run. The max here is $19, but many people are saying it's going to go into the 20s and 30s, but who knows? I just take it 1 week at a time when I'm doing this. That's all I can handle, in the sense that you can't predict so far in advance. Well, you can, but I'm not doing that with this segment. All right, so up there is 1710-ish, 1615. I digressed and I forgot if I did this. 1567, roughly 1544, and roughly 1520. I think I did do that. This gap takes us down to 1552. Note the bounce here at support, resistance, busted through, grinding along here now at resistance. Sell off here at resistance. And then the buy-in, resistance here, falling down. And then note how many times this acted as resistance when we were climbing up. We touched 1, 2, 3, I'll just say 3, 4 times here, and then 5 times. Just add all those together. And then this will be a support line if we go sideways, but hopefully we'll continue to go up, and that will take us at the outer band maybe to 1750. Maybe, baby. Next one, Intel. 2405, 2423, 2467, and 2510. Note the downward channel we are in. The middle of the trend takes us to here. And then we would be going back to a place we've already been at 2244, 2202, and then back to where we've been, 2157. This gap closes out at 2164. Price could, where is last week? I think that is last week's. So we could be in this zone here too. That's a possibility. All right, this gap touched. We opened up out of the gate on Monday, closed, taking us to roughly 2477. This gap touched on Wednesday the 27th, so that's no longer in play to the downside. We went down a little bit more and then ran back up, and that gap opened up on the 6th of November. Delete, no longer in play. That one is at 2164, and this gap to the upside is what I'm going for at 2904. Oops. And then we've got this one at 1936. Note again the downward channel. Next one is Nike. Oh wait, did I mark the middle of the trend? Yes, right there. Okay, Nike. We ended the week at 78.77, up 0.55%. 80.01, 80.64, 81.25. The middle of the trend takes us to right here. Okay, and then below that, 77.44, retracing to an area we've been, 76.85, 76.16. This gap closes out at 75.31. And did this gap touch? No. If you blow it up, look at that, it's still got room. So this will haunt us eventually to the south side, closing out at 72.61, still in play. And this one, I forgot to mark out. That is no longer in play. That took us to the upside at 76.61. And then right here, that touch, that was predicted, and that touched on the 26th. Oops, the week of Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a great and fantastic Thanksgiving. Okay, there we go, done. And then this will take us, this one to roughly 89.25, this one to 91.24, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. And then what happened here? There's a gap. Oh, yeah, there's a gap here that I've been tracking. That'll take us to 81.40. But look, we're just retracing, it looks like, back up. Fingers crossed, people can get out of their positions if they want once we go to the upside. See, look how close that looks like. But upon closer examination, that did not touch, unfortunately. So not good, but if you're trying to buy in at a cheaper price, that is a better price than where we are today. Oops. Okay, next one, Unilever. Oh, let's get rid of this. I might sell my position, I don't know. I have some that I could cash out for, I guess, if we make it up to that level is what I was doing. Okay, first, your price targets. The middle of the trend and the baseline is 59.92. And then if we continue to go up, by the end of the week, that could take us to 61.67 at the middle of the trend, and then the outer band, 62.12. That would be nice. That's at least a couple of targets. 60.37, 60.61, 60.84. 59.45, 59.23, 58.99. And then what happened here looking left? Sell off at resistance, buy in off of the bounce off of this gap. Those will also act as support and resistance. Basically, everything acts as support and resistance. But let's clean this up. So this gap opened up on Wednesday, the 27th, and then, so we gapped, oh no, I'm sorry, we gapped up, and this one is still in play to the downside. Roughly 59.13. So this gap to the upside here at 59.52, and that started on Friday, November 8th, touched right here. Oops. Nope, it's not liking this. Let's make it bigger, see if I can grab on. No, gosh darn it. There we go. So that touched right here as we had this huge gap up, and that took us to 59.52, no longer in play, delete. What's going on with this one? All right, let me clean up this one as well. Okay, remember when I extend these, I have no idea where it's going to hit. Did it touch right here? No, it touched right there. So this gap is done to the upside at 58.94. Oh, and look at, I didn't draw that one in. So we gapped up. So this is a gap down. That will take us down to roughly 58.63, but that one I'll mark out in a second. So we finished that one here and delete that. Move this back over to there. So we were at 58.61 last week when I tracked it, and now we're at 59.84. Now let's mark this so I keep everything organized. And then we've got this one as well. And this one touched to the upside on the 22nd. So that's done at 57.84. This is support running up to resistance. Then that gap closed out right there as well. All right, so we've basically completed all these gaps here that I've been tracking for Unilever. And then we've got some more potential upside gaps. Finally, we have many, many, many. So I'll mark those out later. And I think those are the only gaps I'm tracking right now to the downside. This one opened up on the 22nd. Okay, so this is now the middle of the trend. And last week, we were right here. So from here to here is a 2.6% return. All right, now what I'm going to do, because I don't like to see these two lines so close together, I'm going to remove this one. Oops. Hit the wrong line, this yellow line. Delete. There. Just clean that up a little bit. All right, the next one. And remember, last week, we filled the gap for NNE, a nuke ticker, but I'm covering nuclear stocks on my nuke segments I'm doing. So check that out. All right, 12.23 is where we ended, the middle of the trend. Now takes us there at roughly 12.52, 13.08 if we're lucky, 13.37 on Monday, and 13.60, what did I say? 13.85-ish. But the middle of the trend, if we continue, could be at 14.81. 11.95, 11.66, and 11.35. All right. And what do we have here? It was 10.24 at the beginning of the week and then 12.23 at the end. And this is a gap that I need to clean up. So we closed this one we opened on Friday the 15th, closed on the 18th. Delete. Okay, so that's done. That's done. I think I've done a pretty good job cleaning this up. Yeah, I should erase one of these. Let's erase one of the older ones, which will be this one. Okay. I don't want to see too many lines, like I said. All right. Just a couple from the last, let's say, 3 weeks. So really, I should just delete many of these, but it is fun to look at it in a bigger time frame so you can see where you've been. 72.12, the middle of the trend, takes us to 74.30, 77.58, 79.17, and 80.80. And at the end of the week, the middle of the trend could be at 77.61 if we continue going upward. 71.10, 69.53, and 67.87. Oh, what happened here? So we have a gap that opened up on Friday, so that's in play. 73.92-ish. We're looking forward to a gap fill at 87.05, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close to closing out. Just keep that in mind. This gap closed. And previously, I looked at it when price was at 68.94 and then started tanking. And now we're on our way up slowly. RSI is at 49, not overextended yet. That's Estee Lauder. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, the 52-week low is 62.29. I've tracked it, I think, when it was in that level too. Go back and look at my old videos. Or not. And all right, middle of the trend takes us to roughly 1461, 1509, 1533, and then back to the same level at 1556 roughly, 1413, 1389, 1365. Note the downward pressure that we're seeing there. And that closes at 1201. Oh my goodness. And then that closes out at roughly 1118. We need this puppy to pop and go up. Okay, what we want is this to go here and consolidate along here and then start turning up. So the middle of the trend last week was here. And I'm going to get rid of this line because I don't need it anymore. I drew that out the week of the 11th. Again, it makes your chart looks too messy. Okay. This was, the last week we went from here to here, and then that's resistance, logical, and then the third price point is here. So this is going to be resistance on the way up from where we are. All right, is that it? Yay, that's it. That is a look at my gap and go trades for the week of the 2nd through the 6th. If there is a ticker that you want me to take a look at, please let me know. And have a great trading week.